Dun, 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 dun. So in this video, we're going to be opening up the new, finally, Indiana Jones 1/12 scale figure from Hasbro. And then of course, we're going to be going and taking some toy pics with it as well. So it has been way too long since we have had ourselves an Indy figure at 1/12 scale. The last one, and really the only one that I know of, was the Figma one that came out maybe like 8 years ago or something. And it was kind of a real big piece of poop. And I had that figure, but I sold it because I lost the hat and it looked like this after I lost the hat. And now finally Hasbro is doing some Indy figures, and it's about damn time.
Indiana Jones. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door.
So we've got the plastic-free packaging, which honestly I think looks really cool in this. Like, it looks really good. Of course, the only problem is you can't see the figure. What if it looks like poop? But I haven't had that problem yet, so I think it looks pretty good. And I actually want to get two so I can have one still in the box because I kind of like it. Yeah, there's a bunch of other figures in the wave here, and if you look on the back, it has all the accessories, which is actually a pretty decent amount. And you also get the build an artifact thing over here, which is really cool. So apparently, if you buy, all the figures in the wave, you will build the arc, which is a pretty cool idea. It's kind of like a Build-A-Figure, but you're building a artifact instead. So I like that idea a lot. I actually pre-ordered him from Entertainment Earth a while ago, so if you want to get one of these or one of the many other Indy figures that are coming out, head to the link in the description. I have a discount code as well. There's a bunch of stuff still on pre-order, but so yeah, head to the link in the description to get this guy. Okay, well, here's Indy. I've been wanting a figure of Indy like this for so long, and here he is. That's so cool. And his hat comes off, right? Oh, his hat isn't supposed to come off. I just took it off, but it does go back on quite easily. I'm actually really surprised. Okay, well, it's clear to me now that the hat is actually not supposed to come off, so don't do that. But also at the same time, it goes back on perfectly fine, and there won't really be an issue with that. Just be careful when you're doing that. He comes with a few extra hands, which I actually was surprised about, so that's pretty cool. We've got a hand for probably either the whip or the gun. This could be a thumbs up hand, but that's kind of cool. Comes with 2 whips, one that can be used, one for his hip, and we get the temple totem thing from the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And here are the 2 pieces for the arc. So that's pretty cool. Okay, gun is in holster and his whip is on, kind of. Getting the little pegs to go into the belt is nearly impossible. I really couldn't do it, so it's just kind of hanging there for now. So I guess just be careful of that. But I'm just gonna switch some hands and see how that goes. So I pretty much just gave up on putting the whip in there. I just couldn't get that little peg in there, which is unfortunate, but not a huge deal, I guess. But the articulation and everything seems pretty good. What you would typically expect from a Black Series or a Marvel Legends or something. It's definitely on that level, which is great. But there's his pants down here kind of hinder his ankle articulation, so I was having a little bit of trouble standing him up, but eventually it does work out. You just kind of really have to fiddle with it, so I will just say something to keep in mind there. So I kind of have a theory with these Indy figures, and this might not continue, but at least for the first wave. Like, I'm a huge Indy fan, and I've been awaiting this figure for so long, but now that I have it, I really only want the Indy figure. I'm not really that interested in getting Belloc or Sala or Marion or any of the other characters so much. Even though I love those characters and I love those movies, I just don't really have the desire to get them as figures. So I'm kind of curious to see if like all of the Indies will always be sold out everywhere, but all of the other figures will maybe be like peg warmers or something. But I'm just curious to see how that's going to work. There's also a bunch of other waves coming out with a ton of other Indies in them too, so I'm sure there won't be any shortage, but that is just something interesting to think about.
Trust me.
So here we have what is called the progression of the Harrison Ford face sculpt. So we've got one of the very first Harrison Ford face sculpts here, not the very first, but an older one. This is from Black Series when they first put out the Hoth pack. So this is before the new face technology. And then this is an archive Han Solo, also from Empire Strikes Back, with the new technology, which looks really good. And then now we have the most recent Indy figure. So I'm really curious to see the difference, because there are definitely some differences, especially from here. All right, so let's look at the Hoth Han. Sorry, I don't have a better Han figure from this time period to use, but it's still got the same face sculpt. And he clearly doesn't look awful. I mean, this is definitely before that super nice face technology. It kind of looks like Han, looks like Harrison, but doesn't really look too great. So that was a while ago. This is probably back to like 2014, 15 back then, something like that. Here we have the archive Empire Strikes Back Han, and he looks great. That is a really good, in my opinion, really great face sculpt. Looks just like Harrison Ford. You've even got that little scar he's got on his chin there. So that's really cool, and I think this, honestly, I wouldn't expect or hope for anything better as far as Hasbro face sculpts go. So let's look at Indy now. Okay, so here's a comparison of Han and Indy. And you know, when I first pulled out that Indy figure, I was like, "Ooh, this doesn't look quite as good as the Han Solo archive does." But now that I'm looking at it like this, it definitely does. Indy, I think, definitely looks better. I mean, obviously, Han and Indy look different with facial hair, age, that kind of thing, whatever. But I definitely think this sculpt here of Indiana Jones is much better than the Han sculpt. And also, just like the proportions of the figure as far as just a body type goes just looks more realistic with Indy as well, so that is also kind of contributing to that as well. So I'm thinking this is a really good face sculpt. I mean, I was thinking that to begin with anyway, but even after the comparisons, I definitely agree with that now, especially when you look at him too. Okay, so I think this is a pretty dang awesome Indy figure. Honestly, this is exactly what I was hoping for when I was thinking, man, Hasbro would be great to make Indy figures, and I definitely love it, except for the fact that I can't put his whip on there. That kind of stinks. And just don't rip his hat off like I did, and then you're pretty much all set. But I definitely have some really fun ideas for toy photos with this guy. Some crossover related things and stuff, so I'm going to go to one of my favorite spots and take those photos. Should be a beautiful day today for the photos, so let's go and do that. Okay, so I actually thought of an idea here, like in the woods by my house. There's a bunch of really great moss, so I kind of made my own makeshift little cave looking mossy place. And so instead of Indy looking for the totem thingy from Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's actually finding a C-3PO head, which is funny, right? It's funny. And so I made him a little bag of sand just out of a crumpled up piece of paper and a piece of fabric, and I super glued it together, and now he's got his own little thingy of sand. And so I built and put all this stuff together just with some stuff I found in the woods. And here's what we're looking like in camera. Not too bad. I'll have my camera settings here as well. And of course, to add a little bit, I'm gonna use some atmosphere aerosol, which is just canned fog. I love this stuff. If you want some of it, I got a 15% off discount code in the description of the video. Just a little bit of this. And I'm also probably gonna take a couple other shots too with my Lume Cube, which is also in the description of the video. 10% off. And just gonna take some shots with it all over the place, different rim lighting, and then we're gonna put them all together. And so this is it.
I'll take the camels.
I don't need camels.
But Indy.
No camels.
So I'm at the spot I come to all the time. This is my sandy spot, the only desert-like place that I know of in upstate New York. So here we go. Let's take a look at what I got going on here. So we've got Indy on a horse. Oh yeah, this is actually the Figma horse. I bought this a long time ago for my Mando cowboy toy photo that I did a while ago, and it's perfect for Indy, so I'm really glad I have it. So I've got it in this cool pose. I'm using actually just a wooden skewer here to keep it up. There's actually a hole in the bottom of the horse anyway for the stand that it comes with, but this works better. I've got the beautiful sunlight up here, and I'm gonna be using my light reflector and my remote here to kind of bounce the sunlight off of here, as you can see. And then as I'm doing that, I'm just gonna kick up some dirt with my hands. As you can see, I've already done a little bit of it. I'm gonna get an awesome shot with Indy and some action. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Well, that's about it for me and Indy in this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a quick like and potentially a subscribe too. That would be fantastic. I'd also really like to know if you do have this figure, what you're thinking about it. Please let me know in the comments. I would absolutely love to know. And also, of course, all of these photos will be posted on Instagram at Sirdork. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.